I'm going to call the meeting to order. First thing I'd like to go over the agenda. We have first to approve the minutes. Then we'll review correspondence. Oh. Okay. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Then we have one piece of correspondence from Mr. Perez regarding the issue of having the arborist tree screening plan. We have one public hearing on the Canavari area variance. And have no new business and old business, the McEnany area variance. Okay, so let's start with the minutes. Did you have a chance to go over?
Yep.
Any? Yeah, okay, so I'll move to accept the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, good. All right, next, we're gonna put the correspondence, we would like to talk about it, but we're gonna put that at the end of the agenda. And so I'm gonna open the public hearing for Mr. and Mrs. Canavari. Okay, and I'm just gonna go over that there were a few things that we asked you to do, and you did them. So that's why we're here. And so that the amount of the variance that you're seeking is 38.5 feet, meaning that the structure you want to put up is 38 feet close, 0.5, I'm sorry, 38 feet 5 inches closer to Brusco Road than is the principal building. Is that correct? Okay. We also have a revised determination letter that doesn't really quite match that, I'm afraid. What does this say? It says a request has been made for the structure. Is it 33 feet from the road?
38.5.
I think it's 38.5 closer than the in front of. I think that's the distance, that's 38.5.
It's a difference between this number and this number.
Okay, so
Brochure.
yeah, please
Absolutely.
do, please do. I just want to make sure we have the numbers right, because on the determination letter, it says that a request has been made for the structure to be 33 feet from the property line, requiring a 35-foot variance for the structure to stand. The
Right.
principal building, but your number here is 38.
Right, because we had asked Mr. Canterbury to, you got the map there?
Yeah.
What we had asked Mr. Canterbury to do is calculate, find out what this distance is.
Yes.
Which is
The house to the road. To the
69,
property line.
69 feet, 1 inch.
Okay. And what we said is, this is the distance between the proposed structure and the property line. And this number minus this number is the variance that is needed. And the reason it's not the same as in the notice of zoning determination is because the code enforcement officer didn't calculate this from this, he did something else.
They did a parallel line somehow,
Yeah.
and then they calculated it that way. So I was going off of that from the original.
Right, and then we,
Okay, and
and
then,
we
yeah, so last
discussed-
meeting, we talked about, you
Okay.
said to please get that. which I
Correct,
did.
what you did.
And this And I just did the subtraction and put it on.
this from this. And that gives us the number.
Correct.
Okay,
So in fact, you're going to put it 33 feet from the property line, but it is 38 feet, 5 inches closer to the front property line than what your house is.
Correct.
And that's what you need the variance.
Yes.
Yes.
Because the house faces this way,
right.
right? This is, as I look at it, the side of the house, but I understand that.
And that's what we're going to take into consideration when we make a decision.
Yes.
Okay. The number that I get. Oh, I'm sorry, it was 138 is 13. Okay, so that's where the fund is. All right, got it.
Okay.
Okay. So I just want to clarify that notwithstanding what's in the determination letter, the required variance is 38. You could stay up here. 38 feet, 5 inches.
And just to clarify for the record, why there's a new notice of zoning determination, it's because the copy that you included in your application didn't have town letterhead, didn't have a date. And we said, there's something peculiar about what you submitted. We'd like you to submit something that is dated, and that is what Jane was reading from. Okay,
Yeah.
and that's why we asked for the updated.
Yeah, it's probably the way I just printed off a little bit. Because that was the initial, the original one. So I honestly don't know.
Okay.
All right. So when we, in order to decide this. Okay,
It's probably just kind of section. So it came out. That's one reason to do this.
So let me show you if I can.
No, I believe it, trust me.
Yeah,
I know what I think I did here. I didn't include this piece, I just included this section. That was one letter.
Okay.
That's the way I printed it.
be that as it may. We have a copy that has a date on it that is on town letterhead,
Yes.
and we calculated the distance differently than code enforcement officer.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
And good.
okay,
Good.
okay, so we have to consider 5 factors.
Okay.
And I'm gonna ask you if you could address, the 5 factors are basically what you have in your application, each one of these things. I'll just say them quickly, and you then would please talk about each.
Sure.
Okay. Whether an undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to the nearby properties will be created by granting the variance. Tell- And you say no, tell us why. Tell us that.
One, where my house is situated. The sites, that both my neighbors don't see it. Yeah, these are phones, all the talk down. He gave me a letter that included in that. She said, yes, it's fine with him. I took pictures to show on the road, the view of it. Said it's, you couldn't even see my truck in those pictures. And then I took a picture of a car going by from the house side. And you just barely see the top. So that's.
And also, what about the style of the structure?
Shed.
Shed.
It's a-
It's not, is it a garage or a
It's a
shed?
shed.
It's a shed, okay.
It's a 10 by 18 shed. It's overhead barn. I included all the pictures of it. It's an Amish built shed. It's a dark color, so it moved into the landscaping. So you feel, again, I didn't want it sitting in the road, so I got it a darker color so it doesn't stand out. And that's about the building, the Amish built one, the structure is very well.
And the other thing that you told us is that the front of your house is not parallel with the front property line, actually is angled
Correct.
to the property line, and so the shed technically on the side of the house But because the house is angled to the front property line, the shed is now closer to the front property line than it would be if the house was parallel to the front property line.
Correct.
Okay,
And if you look at the map, you'll see that the way the driveway goes in, parallel or right off of Brosville, and then makes an immediate left down, and at the bottom, that's where I want. to show.
And is that where this new thing is now?
Yeah, that's the farm equipment that I have.
Thank you.
I just know from driving that there's a curve in the road there. So
Yes.
it's like you have one sense of the front of the house and then the road curves
You can,
and
you can see the garage side of it, but it's
Right.
not as, when you're coming down, you see the front. Better than you see the side, but most of the time we're doing 55 plus. So,
okay. The next issue is whether the benefits sought by the applicant can be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than an area variance. Could you put the shed anyplace else where you wouldn't need a variance?
the issue for me was, if Will came over and trying to say, how do we move it beyond the parallel to the husband? If I move it into the backyard, septic tank is right there, and then I go back to it. That's the flattest area unless I go out to the field and it defeats the purpose of the shed. Because I'm putting farm equipment in there that I hook up right on the driveway. Plus, when I have my snow blower and other things, I gotta go out, in this last snowstorm, that wouldn't be too fun.
No.
Let's put it down.
Okay.
That makes sense?
yes,
Okay, the next is whether the requested variance is substantial. And I mean, that is a fluid term. And what I mean is, it sounds like, 38 feet is not an insignificant number. My sense is that there's something peculiar about the placement of the house on the property and the angle of the house, which has sort of unique and it kind of mitigates the substantial nature of the,
Yes, and that's why I was trying to take those pictures, even there's one I did from the front, from the driveway area. So when you look from the driveway, you see the front with the front door.
Mhm.
Right, it wasn't until Will and George came over and said, that's not the front of the house, actually, the front of your house is that front left corner. And I was like, what do you mean? This is where my garage is, this is where I pull into my garage,
right?
so that's why I was doing that.
Whether the proposed area variance will have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood.
No. That's the bottom of the driveway. It's already established. I'm not ripping down anything. I cleared a little bit of brush so when they come in to drop it, that was it. But there's nothing else
So no cutting,
detrimental to that.
there's no
trees
cutting
down.
trees and no leveling of the,
No.
and lastly, whether the alleged difficulty was self-created, which consideration shall be relevant to the decision of the Board of Appeals, but shall not necessarily preclude the granting of the area variance.
No, it was not something. I'm just trying and I know George and them told me don't do it for convenience sake. I can't come in and say it, but for reality, that is a convenient area for me. With the tractor coming in and out, with the equipment, like I said, the snow blower and the snow plow and different things that I want to hide the blue tarps that I'm covering things with now to actually make the neighborhood look better. And that's really what it comes down to. So I don't believe it's so.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anything you want to add?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, anyway, okay, all right. Well, you can sit down and then I'm gonna close the hearing. And I would just say that I think it's easy for us to find the facts as they were spelled out by the applicant with the possible exception of the self-created.
And I think the code was intended to have accessory structures not built in front of a house relative to the front property line. And I think what we said in this particular instance is because of the orientation of the house, putting the shed where it is actually on the side of the house, although the measurement has to be taken from the corner. And so
We were in side of what the house is based on the map, it would be in the front, which means if you drove by or down, everyone would see a big huge shed. They don't
Right.
front yard, so then that to me would be a giant eyesore to the neighborhood and the road.
Right.
It's a big shed.
Yes, so I think, we understand, and that it is. I think the word that you used about orientation of the house is what's driving this whole thing, and. Anything else you believe?
Looking at where the blue tarps are and how the driveway comes out, was there ever another structure at the end there? Okay, it just seems like an unusual,
So I don't believe it. What I can tell of the travel just.
okay. Well, I mean, it seems like a really logical place to me.
Okay. I'm gonna make, after considering these factors, make a motion to. Grant. The area variance of 38 feet 5 inches to place a 10 by 18 structure shed closer to the front property line than the principal dwelling. At 1811 Brusco Road. In LaGrangeville. Here a second.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. There you go.
Appreciate
That was a good.
Oh, and I just wanted to say just one of the, I don't think we have any, does anybody have any conditions that should be added to that? No. No, okay, no condition. Okay.
Enjoy.
it.
All right, come up, just come up closer to us. You don't need to give a presentation, just.
Well, the camera aren't gonna.
Okay. You wanted to, instead, just.
Cool.
Okay.
we just said. You can do that. Okay.
I'm just gonna review. Broadly. The issues that we discussed with council. And then we're gonna have a discussion amongst ourselves. And you're free to. Give us any thoughts you have, but as I understand, there are two code provisions that are a little bit in tension with each other. And one of them is a code provision called section 210-12, existing lots of record. And that code provision essentially says there's a definition of what an existing lot of record is. And I don't think there's an issue that your lot existed before the existence of the code. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And this provision says an existing lot of record is a legally existing lot at the time of adoption of this chapter, the plat and or deed of which is duly filed and recorded, as applicable in the Dutchess County Clerk's Office as either an individual parcel of land or as part of a subdivision approved by the town of Unionville in accordance with whatever the subdivision codes is. So we have an existing lot of record, and then it says nothing in nothing in this article, I assume, it says nothing contained herein shall prohibit the use of an existing lot of record as defined, as I just said, of less than the prescribed lot area, lot width, or lot frontage for the district in which it is located, provided that each of the following criteria is satisfied. And we're going to talk about the different criteria. I think that there is a reasonable argument that each of these criteria are satisfied, in which case it would alleviate the need for a variance. What would be left is you'd need to apply for a special use permit as an existing lot of record, and all of the, with the exception of the lot area, all of the requirements of a special use permit will be decided by the planning board. That's one avenue. Another avenue is, as was suggested in the determination letter, is that the existing lot of record provision doesn't apply, and you would need to apply for a variance and go through a public hearing, etc. And then, even if we were to grant the variance, you would still have to go through with the planning board the requirements for the special use permit. Does those make sense?
That doesn't make sense, yeah. I think I remember that from the last meeting.
Yeah, so our focus just tonight is to see if we are in agreement or a disagreement with regard to whether the provisions, the criteria spelled out in 210-12 for existing lots of record are satisfied. And I'm going to each go, there are 6 of them. The first is that the lot does not adjoin any other lots or tract of land held by the same owner, which aggregate area either complies fully or more fully complies with the minimum lot area required. Do you own any other parcels that are contiguous to your parcel?
I don't know how you would describe it, but I own the parcel across the street, which is where the garage is.
And is that a separate parcel? Because
Yeah,
I look,
separate.
Oh, it's not part of the property that the house is on?
No, it's separate parcels.
because it doesn't have that on parcel access.
Oh, it doesn't? Oh, no. So there's 2 parcels, one where the actual house sits on,
Right,
and then the other is across the street where the garage and septic are.
So, sorry, so in this survey, the 0.36 acres is just the tax lot 6, sorry, I don't have my glasses, 519031, or does it also include
I-
512021?
I think it should specify, I think it includes everything. Unless if I'm wrong, but I think the engineer, because I paid for the engineer to do that before the closing. I was pretty sure that included the developer space, the way that I was told.
That's how I was interpreting it, because he's got the 2 tax numbers here.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
well, on this lot. I'm sorry, where is the tax lot number? Or the. Oh, I see, what I was saying. When on the survey. There's this area of land that is. on the other side of the road.
Yeah,
And it looks like it was part of the parcel.
yeah, but then there was a road that went through it. So the road actually divides, so I guess at one point it was, and then when the road went through it, it became two different parcels. From what I understand it,
So then I'm really confused. So who owns this little bit right here?
let me see, so.
And where is
It's
the-
not to bring in.
Where,
Oh.
so here's my entire lot,
Uh-huh.
2 parcels. It's divided by the road.
But this doesn't have a parcel number on,
Oh,
on parcel access. That's what was,
Oh, I
that's
understand.
what's confusing to me
Okay.
is. So then you're saying then this is a third parcel?
no, just 2 parcels.
This, is this part of this?
That's the main parcel.
Yeah,
So,
so,
this is this part here is the main parcel.
yeah,
And then this is this little cutout, but then it looks to me like this part that goes around the cutout on 2 sides, or 3 sides is also yours,
yeah.
even though one of those is completely in the road.
Yeah, and I
Okay.
did tell the engineer, I thought that was a bit weird, but he said he had to follow the markers.
Sure.
All right, so this
Yeah.
is a lot that's 519-031.
Right, which is where the house sits, and
And
then,
this says 5120.
which is,
21.
which is more like it's more like a rectangle. I don't know why the engineer didn't cut it off where the road was.
Wait, but what's this?
Oh, that's just the garage, the existing garage.
But what lot is
That's
it on?
different. Uh,
512021.
yeah, so it would be on this tax lot. And then the garage sits on, right, is located here on this whole parcel.
So
Well, you keep saying this whole parcel, but I don't know what this parcel is. Where does this parcel belong?
This is a tax lot.
Jane,
Right.
so if you think of it, I think this is right. So like this part that I'm highlighting in blue is this one tax parcel.
Yeah, but I'm talking about this square. over
Goes
there.
up here.
Goes up there.
Yep, these are
Yeah.
attached.
Yeah,
So this, all of this here on both sides is, that's a weird symbol.
that's kind of what
I'm still not understanding.
So this part here, this part
Oh.
above it, and this part all to the right of it is on the main house parcel.
What isn't in the main house parcel?
The,
There's this little square in here.
yeah,
no, and the garage.
what's in the garage that it sits on.
I mean, it's basically a 32 by
40 or
yeah,
at the scale.
about 40-foot parcel. It's literally just the garage and that teeny bit of land right before it.
To put the cars, yeah. That's the way that before closing was interpreting it.
This over here is part of this, but
Yes.
this is not.
Right. And this garage would be accessed, where is the front of this garage? Does it face the road or does it face the side?
It faces the road.
Okay.
I think parcel access is not accurate for my house. I think it gives you a dimension, what it thinks it is, based on, I guess whoever inputted it in GIS, the coordinates, but
Do you? Well, the question then we have is, is this a substantial enough piece of property that is adjoining? That makes you, it doesn't make you fully comply. And it doesn't make you nearly comply, it seems to me, with the 1.5, what is the bulk regulation require for this lot? It's 2 acres?
um,
1.5?
I think I need a 1.2, so I'm missing whatever the difference is.
Yeah, 1.5 acre zone.
All right, 1.5 acres, so. This is only like
0.3, 0.4.
I thought it was
Yeah,
0.27. Where was-
No, this whole part here is 0.36 acres.
Okay, so 0.36, and you need 1.5. And how much, what percentage does this add? Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh.
This says you can't take advantage of this provision if you own an adjoining lot that together with your lot either complies fully or more nearly complies with the minimum lot area. More nearly, I mean, these are
I'm not sure what that
terrible
means.
words. These are words that are very confusing, and I would say it's still not close to compliance.
It would be more nearly, but not close. Yes,
More nearly complies.
yes.
Complies fully or more nearly complies with the minimum lot area. But then you still.
But it's also weird because then you've got the road going right through it, and I don't know if. I mean, there's a significant amount of this. This acreage and this teeny little bit here that actually is the road. Do we have to subtract that?
In order to do what?
It's more, less nearly, more nearly. I mean, I guess as I see it, if you take out, just visually, it looks like that, roughly 30 by 40 strip there where the garage is probably be almost the same amount of distance, the same amount of area that is in the road.
Well, I guess the question is that we don't know if this 0.36 acres includes the road. Do we?
I would imagine it, we don't know that, but I would imagine it does because it marks this whole area.
So there was a lot and a road got put in through the lot, which reduces the amount of area that belongs to the lot.
Yeah,
And it now makes the lot on two sides of the road, but it's one lot.
yeah. And usually when a road splits a lot like this, there's a little symbol, which I don't see here, which is weird. But you also said this is where your septic is over
Yeah, so the,
on the garage side
to the
or
right of the garage, the
In this-
open space is the septic.
in that kind of no man's land over
Yeah.
the square?
And I do have, I don't know the legal word for it, but I was told when I purchased the home, I did have a right of way to access under the road if I ever needed to repair. That
Okay.
came with the house.
So what we're talking about
Oh, I never read the notes here.
is here's the property, the way it's entered into parcel access. And you're saying this piece of property here is part of this lot or it's not?
That's the same lot. Yeah, it's the same. So whether,
So-
yeah,
I'm trying to understand, you
Sure.
said whoever entered this into parcel access may have not done it accurately?
I was guessing, yeah. So there's only two parcels or two lots. There's the lot where the house is, and then there's the lot where the garage and
This,
septic are.
this one and this
Yeah.
one,
Yeah, that's correct.
and this one is not correct because it doesn't include this portion. Can you see what I'm looking at?
They're the same.
Okay, so
the garage.
here's the lot according to parcel access, this and this.
Sure.
And what you're saying is this is part of this, but parcel access when it was entered didn't include this?
No, I understand. You're looking, it's not showing, that's correct. So that's wrong. So I own that lot is this plus that.
Right,
Yes,
but parcel access doesn't accurately
Correct.
characterize it.
correct.
Also, there's a note here for the title and boundary notes. I'm not sure what this means. Conflicting monumentation found in the vicinity of this property and historical deeds and old surveying records indicate the possibility of varying interpretations of the physical positioning of the lines of this property. The property lines shown here on are the signing surveyor's professional opinion of the property lines.
That's just a disclosure saying to the best of their ability that they believe those are the lines that that the engineer has drawn.
Yes, I just don't remember usually seeing that on, I don't really think of this as a standard blurb on surveys.
So the question that Jane asked is whether you own a piece of property adjoining to the existing lot. And what, if I'm following this, what you're saying is you only have one lot.
What are you saying? He has two lots. He's saying he has this lot and he has this lot.
But parcel access, I think, is suggesting that this and this are part of the same thing.
Correct.
And so it's not two lots, it's just the property is separated
Right.
by a road.
Correct.
That's the interpretation I have. It's not two lots. It's
But they-
a single lot that's separated by Burbank Village Road. And that this little triangular piece is supposed to be part of this piece. But it is not accurately represented in parcel access.
Yes.
Well, why do they have two different lot numbers? Or do they not? This 512021.
I think that's the tax, a tax lot, because I get taxed for two different, because of the road, I get taxed. I get two different tax bills. One for the bottom space, the garage, and
Yes.
then one for mine. Yeah,
You get taxed for two different lots.
because they can't tax me for the space where the road is because Yeah.
Okay.
they can't tax me for the road. perimeter.
Understood.
Yeah.
So instead of charging you for the section of the lot that's under the road, they give you two
Yes,
separate
yes,
tax
yes,
assessments, one for each side.
correct. And the small one, it's like $10-15 a year.
Okay, so back to your original question about adjoining property. All of this is technically one lot, although some portion of it is separated by a road.
I understand.
No, I'm trying to
Sure.
get you to say, yes.
Yes,
You don't own a lot next to it here, and you
No.
don't own a lot next to it here.
no,
You don't own this lot,
no,
and nor do you own this lot
no.
or this lot.
Mm-mm.
Does that make sense, Jane?
And if it helps, that lot can never be sold without that property legally.
You can't sell it separately.
No.
It's,
It won't be allowed to be sold separately. Because the parking and the septic. To the property.
so essentially it is like in essence, a single lot.
Yes.
not-
Yes.
All right.
Any idea why there were two lots?
I don't know.
We asked why were there what? Ilona?
Why there are two lots?
I think because the road separates it.
That doesn't make sense. I mean, because if that's the case, then all of this would be under tax lot 212021.
I don't know.
No, it just,
Yeah.
it,
I know I did
yeah,
when before I purchased the home, I was really concerned about buying a house where like the septic was under the road. but I didn't know until like closing, and I was like, it's not gonna be a kill for me to not buy this house. But I did speak with somebody at the state of New York, wondering if what I was being told was true, but what they told me is nobody can own a road. No residential person can own it, so the separation, they made it seem clear to me that it had to be done that way because no one can legally own a road.
I have to ask, sure, incredibly stupid question.
Okay, go for it.
What happens if there's a problem with your septic system and that problem's underneath the road?
That's why I called them. So I have a right of way to work under the road to access my septic or repair a line. And I had to take out a secondary insurance policy in addition to my homeowners. So if that ever happened, I'd be covered. Cause I always worry about what happens if a big truck is driving down the road and something happens and the pipe gets crushed. But we did inspect it before the purchase and I just emptied the tank this past April and there's no damages. It's in good standing. It's not a risk or even a future risk.
Okay. Let's just go to the next one. The next is development of the lot shall satisfy all applicable requirements in the town of Unionville, the Dutchess County Health Department and New York State Departments of Health and Environmental Conservation for potable water supply and sanitary sewage facilities. That, when we started this
Yeah,
several months ago, there was an issue about the Board of Health, as I recall, and you have the concerns.
no issues with the Board of Health because a bedroom was not added. Adding a kitchen or restoring a kitchen, a second kitchen at home. They don't get involved in. They only get involved if you're adding a bedroom. I did contact the Board of Health. This is not their domain. They said that they don't interfere or participate in this unless if a bedroom was added. And I am wanting to add a bedroom. I don't want to add a bedroom.
I think you just said you're wanting to.
No, I'm not wanting. So
Not-
if you are wanting, you have to have the Board of Health approve it. But I'm not adding a bedroom to the house.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as far as you're aware, there are no applicable requirements.
There are no.
The next one is about subdivision plat after 1962, and this was not part of subdivision, is that correct?
That's
Okay.
correct.
Okay. If developed for residential use, use of the lot shall be limited to one principal single-family dwelling and its associated permissible accessory structures. This was a provision that gave us difficulty when we're discussing it with the attorney. It's a strange language of one principal single-family dwelling. It doesn't say one single-family dwelling. It says a principal single-family dwelling, suggests that there's a principal and there could be an accessory to the principal.
Okay.
And I would suggest that's makes more sense. Otherwise, it would be so much more, it would be, what if it's, if what this wanted to limit is no accessory structures or apartments,
I would say that.
it would just say it's the lot shall be limited to one single family dwelling, period. And this is one principal single family dwelling and its associated permissible accessory structures. So I personally, looking up the words of what a dwelling unit is, what a principal structure is, what a principal use is, it seems like it doesn't clearly say to me that you can't have an accessory apartment. I don't know if anybody else has a different view.
That makes sense.
Development of each existing lot of record may, upon demonstration by the applicant, satisfactory to the code enforcement officer. Wait, let me just see this. No. I don't even know how to read this. So. This is saying the criteria is. Development of such existing lot of record may, upon a demonstration by the applicant satisfactory to the code enforcement officer. That greater side and rear yards. Which either comply or more nearly comply with this chapter. Cannot be reasonably provided. Occur in accordance with the following reduced minimum side and rear yard requirement. I can't even understand that, but let me ask you this question.
Sure.
The principal building. No principal building shall be located less than 80% of the minimum side yard otherwise specified for the zone. Any idea what that means?
No.
The way that it sounds to me, that if I could,
Please.
as an urban planner, went to
Mhm.
school, I could be very wrong, but it sounds like whatever you're doing still has to have a front yard and a backyard, and it cannot be without it, if that could be interpreted that way. Which,
Well, how much of the side yard, do you have side yard issues and rear yard issues?
I don't have front yard, I don't have backyard issues. I have neighbors to the left and to the right, but I have a walking space around the house.
So you comply with the front yard. Side yard. And rear yard. Requirements.
Do you have 35 feet on in each side?
No,
How much do you have?
I think on one side, less than 6 feet, and the other side to the left is less than 6 feet. To the right, looking at the house, I think about 10 or 15 feet, maybe less. The back is substantial, the front 30 something feet, but
No,
So,
it's because it has right here, 8.5 feet. On the
So
side,
if
and
it-
it's
if what
practically
this-
nothing. on
if
the
what
rear.
this means is that. It can't be less than 80% of the side yard.
Well, wait a second. I think I have a solution of why this, you
Okay.
don't have to. This has to do with the development of the lot. This has already been developed with the house before the zoning came into
Oh.
effect. Because there's a definition of development. That I have here.
So you're referring to development of the house, not the accessory apartment.
Sorry, I have,
This one, Jane?
yeah. This was something I went over with Jim, that development means any activity. And then there's a whole list, including the following, well, let's say construction, which is what we're talking about. That materially affects the existing condition of improved land or the improvements thereon. And as I understand it, the construction or reconstruction is not changing the configuration of the house in any way. It's not
Correct.
intruding any
No,
greater into
no.
the sidelines. It's
I didn't
not-
change the shape of the house.
Didn't change
No.
it, so that the development of the house, which is what this is talking about here. development of the lot cannot do these things. It's not historic development. It's the development that you're allowed to do even if you have a substandard lot.
Okay. So the development doesn't refer to creating an accessory apartment. It has to do with the entire structure in terms of its size.
It's like if you had an empty lot and you're building on it,
Okay.
you can't go into encroach on the sideline
Okay.
to that degree.
That makes sense.
That makes more sense. And the last one is development of such existing lot of record complies with all other area and bulk regulations for the zoning district. Again, it's the development of it.
Okay,
So,
back to one then.
so we're back to the one
Back
as
to
about
number
the,
one.
which is that the I think that the purpose of the first one is that you don't own these other properties that you're leaving vacant in order to do what you want to do on a substandard lot. This is like totally incorporated
Mhm.
within
Okay,
the history of this lot. It's all being treated as, it's not like you're gonna go sell off this lot,
Mhm.
which you could use for the benefit of this property. So you say you can't sell this off.
No.
Right. That,
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
I accept that.
all right. Having said all those things, do we agree that this criteria of 210-12 are satisfied for this lot?
I agree with that.
I would like to make a motion that the determination of the zoning board is that this lot or lots, however they're numbered, comport with the spirit of 210-12. And that each one of these criteria is satisfied. And as an overall picture, you have this lot that was in existence for a long time. The code seems to be saying when you have existing lots, provide you don't expand the area that you're using.
And
And
it
it's-
happens to be one lot separated by a road, which is no fault of your own.
In which case a variance would not be
Okay.
required. And therefore, your next step will be that you have to go to the planning board for a special use permit and deal with the planning board about whether you satisfy the criteria under 210-56. And what we're exempting you from by our reading of 210-12 is the acreage requirement for an accessory apartment.
Do you want me to just second that?
Yes.
I'll just second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
I,
Okay, we're gonna have to be careful of the language, but I think we all agree that with what our interpretation is of this section, that you are, so we don't need to schedule a hearing.
Cool.
And this is, I don't know, it was a long way of getting there, but I think the more we looked at this,
Yeah.
the more it's envisioning something. It's envisioning, preventing development of something. This is already developed. Because if it's already developed, then you get to be exempt.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
And we will, within the next week, we'll have this resolution printed out and
Okay.
it will be then shared with the.
Dumb it down for me, so I know what to do in planning.
Well, I don't know if we're gonna dumb it down. We're kind of smarter. Okay, so,
Thank you very much. I really appreciate this.
Good luck with it.
Thanks.
I just want to say one thing. We are not making any representations to you about what the planning board is gonna do.
Yeah, I know.
You know, and that
They are. a
they have
different
their
entity,
own
Right.
responsibility. Ours was just deciding whether you needed the variance.
Sure. Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have one more thing to look at, and that is the letter from the email from Mr. Perez.
James, this one, mine, or-
Oh, I'm sorry. I
It's okay.
I think I might have
Sorry.
written, no, this, I don't know.
All right, never mind then.
All right, wait, I think this one
No,
was mine,
oh,
but maybe not. I don't know. Maybe we could make a copy of this because I wrote notes that would be helpful.
then keep it. It's fine.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right, could we just take a moment and see what Mr. Perez had to say? Anybody? Dennis,
Okay,
you have-
my initial reaction is Mr. Perez is putting the cart before the horse yet again, saying that he's gonna work out with the neighbors what's going to be done. The requirement was to submit a report to the board, which would help make a decision and thus make a recommendation. My question is if Mr. Perez works with the neighbors and they come to some agreement on what they want, is that acceptable to us?
I agree that he's putting the cart before the horse. We asked him to do this back in October, and I understand it's snowing now, but I don't see that that should make a difference for figuring out how many trees that you would be able to put into that area, nor the varieties that you would be able to use. And if he comes to an agreement with his neighbors, that's fantastic, and he can tell us about that, but I mean, my feeling is that if he needs to table this another month, that's up to him, but that means that he doesn't get his variance until then. Right.
I guess the question that I was asking is, if Mr. Perez, Mr. Losi, and whatever neighbors are involved, say, Mr. Perez is gonna plant this number of trees in this location, we're willing to accept that as a condition for granting the area variance. Would that be acceptable to us? Or do we want a report from an arborist, horticulturalist that talks about the species that could be planted and where? And then we make the recommendation.
Well, I think that we've also asked for an arborist report that would have things like the number of plantings, the size of the plantings, not just the species. And the amount of coverage. I mean, I think we had estimated about 150 feet would need to be screened between the properties. Am I?
Yeah, I
Okay.
accept that. Now,
Okay.
the question that I'm asking is Mr. Perez says. I will be working with my two neighbors in terms of the trees and where they will be located. Once I have figured out. Once I have that figured out, I will be able to provide a drawing of where the trees will be located. And how many will be there and the types of trees that will be planted. So it sounds like what he's doing is, he's going to ask the neighbors what would be acceptable. Then he's going to come to us and say, this is what we decided. Here, zoning board, you asked for a report, here's a report, but it may not necessarily be from an arborist or a horticulturalist, it's gonna be from Mr. Perez, it sounds like. And I guess my question is, if he submits something that represents an acceptable planting to the neighbors, do we accept that?
Well, it's not what we initially asked for,
Correct?
but I think that our concern had been that the neighbors are that the neighbors are being treated well. And if they all are in agreement, I'm okay with that. But then I think that we need to have some proof from the neighbors that this is what everybody has agreed to.
Okay.
I think that makes sense.
Now, I mean, the whole idea was to help the neighbors feel as though the issue of the visual impact has been addressed in some way that's acceptable to them. And if this is the way to do it, and the neighbors agree in whatever Mr. Perez submits, is something that the neighbors agree to, then
So
I'm not sure we have a problem.
The question is, what, if anything, do we need to communicate to Mr. Perez now? Maybe we don't have to communicate anything. And we just know that that's what we're expecting is,
what we need is something that we can say satisfies a condition that we attach to granting the area variance before we grant an area variance. And this was one of the things. And if the neighbors sign off on planting of trees and species and locations and sizes, I don't have a
Okay.
problem with that.
All right, but then we have to wait for them to submit that to us. We can't approve it until that's been submitted.
Well, and what it says to Mr. Perez is you can't do any building because you don't have a certificate of occupancy because you haven't met a condition granting the area variance. So it's incumbent upon him to have this move more quickly than not.
I'm in agreement with that. I mean, I think the response, was this you, Cynthia? I think this is perfect. I mean, submit any updates when you have it.
Yeah.
I would also encourage Mr. Perez, if he's interested, he could watch the tape and he'll hear what we were saying.
What we suggested at the last meeting, if I remember correctly, is that he discussed this with his neighbors to the extent possible, and that appears to be the approach that he's taking.
All right. Anything else? Any other business? I think then that I will say the meeting is adjourned. Is that what we think closed?
I'll second that.
Okay, next meeting is March 3rd.
Okay.